Hello and welcome to another episode. In today's episode, I am going to be explaining what is Math.floor. But before we get started, if you're new to my channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. That really helps my channel. And if you want to get notified every time that I upload a new video, you can hit the ring bell. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, everybody, so to get started in today's episode, open MDN, please, and open also the same website that we have been using. As well, I have opened here the console because I will teach a couple of things in here. And, well, going back here to MDN, I just want you to type in the search box the word Math.floor. And the first article that you get there will be the one, okay? Now, I also have open, as you can see here, the code that we have been using. So let's get out of the way first and foremost. What is Math.floor? So let's just read here for a moment, and then I am going to explain you in my own words what is Math.floor. So the Math.floor is a static method that always returns or always rounds down and returns the largest integer less than or equal to a given number. Pay close attention to this. It says less than or equal to a given number. Okay, so here's the thing. It'll always return whatever is less than what we give them or equal to that same number if it's an integer. So in order to make things easier for you, we can say that this Math.floor, it's a built-in function, which is considered a method, right, of the math object. And in JavaScript, it'll do that. It'll just give you a whole number. Okay, so if you have a number with decimals, it'll convert it into a whole number, like this example right here. Let me show you a couple of examples here below. Console.log math.floor, and then you put in the parentheses what you want to floor, right? Meaning, what do you want to take down to the floor? In other words, what do you want to make a whole number? So if I have 5.95, it'll turn it into 5. If you have 505, it'll turn it into 5. If you have 5, it'll turn it into 5. Why? Because it's going to take whatever number you give in the parentheses, and then it's going to round it up to whatever is less than or equal to its given number. Remember that, less than or equal, okay? So that's why if you put 5.95, it doesn't round it up to 6. It'll give you 5, okay? And then you have here 505, it'll give you 5. It'll give you 5 here because it's a whole number, then is equal, right? So it'll give you the same 5. Now, if you give it minus 5.05, what is less than minus 5.05? It'll be 6, right? Because when you go down, right, whatever is less is 6. So minus 6 is less than minus 5. Hope that makes sense, right? But if you have questions as of now, just leave them in the comment section below, and I will take the time to reply as soon as I can. Okay, so being this said, let's just go ahead and make a couple of tests into our code. But as of now, I hope that you have a clear understanding in what is Math.floor. It's just a built-in function or a method from the math object that we use to make whole numbers, to take decimal numbers and convert them into whole numbers. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's make a couple of examples. Let's open here our code, and I just want to say something like this. Console.log, and then in the parentheses of console.log, we're going to use the method Math.floor, and then here we open parentheses as well because we need to pass some information. So let's say that we want to put 3.145 blah 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 blah, a whole bunch of numbers, right? And I want this rounded up, so then I use Math.floor, right? So when I console log this into our code, let's save it, going back in here, and I hit refresh. Whoops. I just did a mistake. Just make sure you're careful with the lower and capital letters, because Math.floor is not recognized because I put that in lowercase, and Math.floor starts with capital M, okay? So let's just save that out, and then let's hit refresh again, and there you go. So it rounded up this number to whatever is less than or equal to the number that we gave in the parentheses. So 3.14 what is less than 3.14 is the number 3, right? Now, if I only use, I'm going to copy the entire thing again. If I only use, let's say, the number 3, right? Since it doesn't have any decimals, this should return back 3. So I'm going to save here this, and then I'm going to hit refresh. And there you go. It gives me 3 because it's taking whatever is less than or equal to the number that we give in the parentheses. And again, Math.floor, it only will give us whole numbers, okay? So the other thing you can try out in here is console.log, and then we use, again, Math.floor, and then in the parentheses, we're going to do something like minus 3.99. Now, what is minus 3.99? It'll be minus 4. Why? Because minus 3 is higher than minus 3.99. Hope that makes sense. Again, questions about this, leave them in the comment section below. Now I'm going to hit save in here. Let me just close that out and let's hit save. Going back in here, let's hit refresh. And there you go. It gives me minus 4. If you want to get minus 3, then you will have to put here minus 2.99. And then it'll round it up to minus 3 because minus 3 is less than minus 2.99. So let's just save that out. Let's hit refresh. And now I will get minus 3. Okay, so this is how it works. Now, how would we use it into our code? Yesterday, we wrote a chunk of code that was doing the following. Whenever we hit this generate random number button, let me just refresh this, by the way. I'll just save this information and let's refresh. Okay, this is empty. So yesterday we created this code in here that whenever I click on the generate random button number, I click in there, it gives me a random number. Now, all random numbers that it generates are decimals because to generate these random numbers, we use something called math.random. Now, what if I want to apply the concepts that I have learned just now with math.floor in order to make this whole numbers rather than decimals? Because let's say that we build up a game where we have people trying to guess the numbers that we'll be giving out. It'll be very hard for them to guess 98.90577, you know. I mean, it's super large. So maybe we want to use Math.floor to make it a whole number. That way they can guess maybe 98, 99, 1, 2, 3, right? And rather than just guessing a whole bunch of decimals. So in order for us to use Math.floor in this function, here is where we use math.random to generate that number. So the only thing that I have to do in here will be the following. I will add math.floor, and then I will open parentheses, and I will close the parentheses in here. Okay? Just like that. Now I'm going to hit save. And by the way, let me just close this out. Let me just remove here the quotes. The semicolons, I'm sorry. So let's hit save. And now let's go back to our code and let's hit refresh. Now, if I hit the generate random number button, since we just added math.floor, we want to floor this down. This should give us now whole numbers only, not decimals anymore. So let's hit generate random number. And there you go. Your random number is 44. Let's hit it again. Now it's 90. Let's hit it again. Now it's 3. Let's hit it again. Now it's 43. And so on and so forth. It'll give me a whole bunch of random numbers from 0 all the way to 100, because this is what we specified in math.random in our previous episode. If you want to know how we do this, I highly recommend you to check our previous episode where I teach you what is math.random and how you can use it. But for now, we are in math.floor, and this is exactly what we can do, right, with math.floor. Now, I want you to go back to MDN, and this is going to be your homework. Go back to MDN, and I want you to study this a little bit more. Take a look at the syntax. I mean, the syntax is very straightforward. You just use math.floor, remember, capital M, and then in the parentheses, you write down whatever you want to do with it, right? In this case, if you can take a look at our code, in this case, I used math.floor, and inside of the parentheses of math.floor, I used math.random, right, to create the random number. But then we floor it down. That's why I put math.random in the parentheses for math.floor. Okay, now I hope that makes sense. Again, questions, comment section below. Okay, so another thing you can go ahead and is just read a little bit more in the description of this. take a look at some other things you can do with it, the decimal adjustments, all of that, right? Because by reading is the only way that you're going to understand fully the whole concept of Math.floor and all the rules that it has. Because remember, every single built-in object, every single built-in function, and every single thing that it's here in JavaScript, it's better understood if you know the basic concepts of it. Now, what I'm doing with this course is just giving you an idea in how you can, use this, but it's up to you to study a little bit more and learn the rules and learn exactly what other tricks and things you can do with this. Okay. So again, go to MDN, go to math.floor, hit that in the search box, and then just read a little bit more about this in order to make sure that you get the whole picture. Okay. So that was it for this episode, everybody. I hope that you have learned a lot. This chapter was really quick, and I just wanted you to know how to, make whole numbers, because we are going to be using this in our project, just so you know. So, please go ahead and play around. Go ahead and practice. Make sure to study. Okay, study always and practice. Very important. And everybody, if you have enjoyed this chapter and it has been helpful for you, remember to give me a thumbs up. It's not going to take much of your time, and it really helps me out. Now, another thing is that if you want to get notified every time that I upload a new video, you can hit that ring bell, and then you will get a notification every time I do. And remember that you can always ask Lixi. Bye, everyone, and see you again in the next episode.